Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. Today we bring you thrilling and inspiring stories from the world of sports. In Colorado, we get an up-close look at a unique winter sport that combines skiing and horseback riding. And in California, we speak with UFC legend Ronda Rousey about her revealing new memoir. But we begin in our nation's capital, where two figure skaters at Howard University are working to expand opportunities for Black college students. I laced up my skates and hit the rink to talk to these trailblazers.
Too. Oh my goodness.
Junior Maya James achieved her dream of a figure skating team at Howard University by turning to Google to find other skaters, and then skated right into the DMs of senior Cheyenne Walker to break the ice.
I stalked Cheyenne a little bit, you know.
Just a little.
Just a little, you know.
I wouldn't call it stalking, though. I would call it using her resources,
Yeah.
doing research.
Yeah.
Both on skates since the age of 7, Walker grew up training with the group Figure Skating in Harlem. But with no figure skating program at any historically Black university like Howard, Walker had to give up the sport she loved to go to the college she wanted.
I loved Howard, but I also wanted to continue to skate. So it was like, which one do I choose?
Together, they set out to change that. But with no ice rink on campus, the pair quickly found forming a team was, well, as hard as landing one of these synchronized jumps.
How do we get ice time? How do we get coaching? How do we do outreach to members on our campus?
With few figure skaters on campus, James and Walker got creative and recruited ice hockey players like sophomore Tony Smith.
Smiling, like majestic on the ice. I wasn't like that before, so.
So why did they want you on the team?
Honestly, because it's Howard's first year, there's not a lot of Black figure skaters don't come here. They don't know that it's an option.
Smith had been skating since she was 2, but admits this was all new.
There's got to be a difference between hockey skating and figure skating.
Yeah, I'm actually having somewhat of a difficult time.
The team also had a difficult time finding a full-size rink to practice in after they discovered the only indoor public ice rink in the nation's capital currently looked like this, waiting to be rebuilt. So each week, the team pays to rent this rink near the University of Maryland.
Bend your knees.
And between practices at this community rink, the Howard students help others find their footing on skates.
To come and see them just get on the ice and be happy, fall, but laugh. Like, I love that.
Now, as Walker graduates, she's leaving James at the helm.
Having this opportunity to lead the club will definitely help her figure out that she has all the potential and that she's able to do everything. So I'm excited.
Why are you crying? You know, it's just so sweet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Because?
I don't know, it has been a lot of work.
Knowing the team is firmly planted.
Do you guys see yourselves as a team being a real contender in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I do actually see us. I think we could definitely be a contender in the future.
Coming up, meet the pack of inspiring underdogs who may just race their way into your heart. This is Eye on America. Welcome back. For pet lovers, every dog is a winner, but this top-ranking dog sled team might just take the gold. One couple in Utah has made it their mission to rescue abandoned and abused canines and shepherd them to racing glory. Jonathan Vigliotti meets these very good boys and girls.
Out here in the mountains of Payo, Utah, just east of Salt Lake City,
Good job, babies. There we go.
the Rancho Luna Lobos race team is gearing up for their next competition.
Woo!
After all, they're one of the top-ranking dog sled teams in the world. But something about this team of all-star canines might surprise you. They're also the greatest underdogs. Most were abandoned or abused before being rescued by Fernando and Dana Ramirez. The couple has helped them find a new footing in life.
How do you go from having a team of castaways to then performing with them, competing with them on an international stage, world championships? How does that happen?
I'm not artistic in any way, but dog sledding for me is my art form. There's nothing like assembling a team of dogs that have come from different types of backgrounds.
Very good. Good job, kids.
When they're all on the line together, it's a masterpiece because they're all working in unison and you're like one body. Whenever we're stepping on a sled, there's purpose to it. And whenever we're going and we're running, there's a mission behind it.
It's a mission Fernando's been on since childhood. He began racing at the age of 8, alongside his first rescue dog named Yellow.
Hi, Indy. Good girl, Indy.
Fernando's wife, Dana, who's actually allergic to dogs,
Oh, Mommy, I love you.
sees her love of the pack as its own kind of medicinal cure.
You look into their faces and there's a powerful connection that resonates into your soul, and it changes you if you're open to listen. And it's such a powerful thing that I say all the time, like, I would never wanted you to have been a doctor, to be something else. Like, this is what we were called to do.
On their 55 acres of land, Fernando, Dana, and their 5 children foster nearly 100 dogs, giving them a second chance at life and love. And much like their owners, most of the dogs have found a new sense of purpose and belonging through sledding.
Any sport that involves animals is always concerned about animal welfare. How do you address that and those concerns that people may have with dog sled racing?
I'm glad you asked that question. We want to be advocates and ambassadors for our sport. And this sport can sometimes be seen in such a gray light. A lot of people are under the notion, or they have this misconceived theory, that the dogs are forced to run, and we can't force them to run.
Their performance is showing how well they're being taken care of. And our dogs get chiropractic work, they get massage care. Everything that these dogs get is
Olympic stuff.
Yeah, it's far above and beyond what the average house dog will ever get.
So Fernando took me along on a training run. One of several he does each day, where the dogs run up to 18 miles an hour to prepare for races as long as 30 miles.
I mean, it's amazing.
I learned about the rescue dog that came as a surprise to the Ramirez family, a blind puppy named Humberto,
That's my boy there.
who helps lead the pack despite the odds stacked against him.
He has such a fire and a passion. This dog with no eyes, he's helping to lead an entire team. He ignites the fire in everybody else because he has such passion.
What is the message of that kind of recovery and adaptation?
I like to see it as if we really want to achieve something, life at times and most often will hand us a raw deal, right? We don't like the cards we're dealt with, but it's what we do with the deck we have at hand is what matters the most.
It's a lesson these dogs continue to put on full display at races around the world. Unlikely competitors representing Team USA in 3 world championships so far.
You know, I stop to look back sometimes like, how did this happen? You know, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Do you still feel like underdogs?
Oh yeah, every day, yeah, all the time, yeah.
Though humility is definitely a top dog kind of quality.
We stay in the snowy West for a century-old winter sport whose popularity is heating up in ski joring. That's right, I said ski joring. Horseback riders tow skiers through a race course, sometimes with theatrical flair. Janet Shamlian goes along for the wild ride.
Go!
It's the wildest winter sport you may never have heard of. Ski joring is an adrenaline-soaked blend of horses, riders, and skiers. Racing through a short course packed with snow at top speed as the skier holds onto a rope for dear life, navigating jumps along the way. Cheering fans are inches from the action.
What's the attraction of ski joring?
There's not many opportunities you get to be literally feet away from a 1,200, 1,500 pound animal with rider on back pulling a skier at 40 miles an hour past your nose.
Duffy Council runs Leadville, Colorado's annual ski joring competition, one of the nation's oldest.
From the rider's first yell to the skier yelling, go, 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 go. I'm getting goosebumps right now. You can hear the crowd as a spectator, like the wave from the start to the finish. It's tough to put into words.
Why haven't more people heard of it?
It may just be starting to grow its roots in pop culture America. You know, here in Leadville, it's been going on for 75 years.
For 10 of those years, Savannah McCarthy has been Leadville's reigning champ, winning her first ski joring competition at just 13 against a field of mostly men.
What's the attraction of ski joring?
I always wanted to be a jockey, but I'm a little bit too big to be a jockey. So this was like the closest thing I could get.
All right, you good?
There's just not a lot of other sports where you can just go full speed.
Challenge right now.
For McCarthy, it's a family affair. Her sister Jade competes, and her parents used to. Despite fame in the ski joring world, many in hers have no idea what it is.
I'm a broker at a financial firm, so
Really
nothing
different.
much different.
What do your coworkers think?
They definitely have never heard of it. Every time I bring it up, they're like, ski what?
Some host cities are heating up the challenge even more. In Montana, skiers race through fire as the snow flies. This is not for the faint of heart.
Oh, man.
Any injuries over the years?
I've had a few. I've had a broken nose. I've had a few concussions here and there. I landed on top of a minivan one time.
They call it ski joring.
Ski joring started in Nordic countries with reindeer as a way to get around. Skiers over the years found themselves behind motorcycles, cars,
The horse fell victim to the mechanical revolution.
even an aircraft or two, before the sport found its way to mountain towns here.
What does this mean to Leadville?
This is arguably the most iconic Wild West event that this town has ever seen.
Council no longer ski jors, blaming 7 knee surgeries. His son Brennan has taken up the mantle while he ensures Leadville is ready. Savannah bravely allowed me on her championship horse Money,
You so got it. Awesome.
who would go on hours later to win Leadville once again.
Does it still bring the same adrenaline rush?
It does. It's never going to get old, I think, no matter how many times I do it. And you definitely feel like a bit of a celebrity. Kind of hard not to when you've got, like, 4,000 people watching you, cheering for you.
A mix of ski bum swagger and cowboy culture. The result, one epic ride.
Ahead, UFC legend Ronda Rousey shares stories of triumph and defeat in a new book. That story is next. We close our show on a conversation with Ronda Rousey, the mixed martial arts fighter, shot to fame after helping launch the women's division of the UFC back in 2012. She parlayed that opportunity into roles in Hollywood films and worldwide recognition. Dana Jacobson speaks with the glass ceiling breaker about her vulnerable new memoir.
Ronda Rousey made a name for herself here in the UFC octagon.
This has to be a great escape for you here.
Yeah, it's my she shed.
But about 60 miles from Los Angeles, in the San Bernardino Mountains, is where she found her voice for her latest memoir.
Writing a book is like writing your heart down and giving it for everyone else to read. People were like, oh my God, it's so honest. I'm like, well, what else would I write?
Rousey able to show vulnerability on the page the way she never could as a fighter.
Why did you want to write this book? I felt like this long form was the only way for me to adequately express everything that I hadn't been in, the last several years. And a lot of it, I wasn't able to be public about a lot of those things until now.
Like an injury history Rousey believes would have put a target on her back in the prime of her career.
It was just something I always was pushing through. So I would get a concussion and continue to train, and I'm hitting the ground over and over again all night, taking impacts. And then every time that you got one, it was easier to get another, and that's why I had to leave MMA. I couldn't take a jab without getting a concussion, which really sucked because I felt like I'd never been faster, never been stronger, never been, better.
Those symptoms, she says, most noticeable in her notorious loss to Holly Holm in 2015. Ending Rousey's 3-year UFC unbeaten streak at 12-0.
From the very first time I got tapped in the fight, I was out on my feet. And I was just trying to make it look like I wasn't out on my feet so that I wouldn't get swarmed on and finished off. what bugs me the most about that is like so many people look at that fight and like think that's who I am as a fighter, and that's how I fight. Like I couldn't like see, and I could barely think.
Do you worry now what damage you did to your brain with all those concussions?
Definitely. There was like a point where like, I talked about it in the book where I would lose my keys or my phone and I would start crying. Let's put them in here, look.
She says that fear of losing her memories has taught her to live more in the moment. Rousey first started fighting when she was a kid, the daughter of judo world champion Anne Maria DeMars.
Well, I was like a prodigy from like the very beginning. Like from when I first like grabbed a judogi, it was just like the heavens opened up and I found what I was like meant to do. It was like when Beethoven finally touched a piano for the first time.
At 17, Rousey became the youngest judoka to qualify for the 2004 Olympics in Athens. In 2008, she won the bronze in Beijing. But that wasn't the dream.
When I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was be the first American to win, the Olympics in judo.
Right.
And falling just short of that was what propelled me to go and do what I did in MMA.
It's been 8 years since Rousey left the UFC and says she doesn't have any regrets. In the book, she addresses the potential power imbalance that can exist between coaches and their athletes. Detailing one training session that may have crossed a line, she writes, "We were supposed to be sparring, but his hits got harder and harder. They weren't the kind of slaps you throw when you're trying to train someone. They were the kind you throw when you want to hurt them."
It's not an individual, it's the whole institution of coaching. I mean, it's that system that you're taught to accept from a very, very young age. You're like indoctrinated into it that this person can yell at you and can insult you and you can't say anything back. You have to take it.
It's not only her career that Rousey is so open about.
You write about miscarriage, which I think is really powerful for people to hear that it was like this for you, because so many women go through that.
I thought I was so immune to it because I was like, oh, I'm a finely tuned athletic machine. This is going to be easy for me. And it was like really humbling in a way. I feel like it's important for women to hear that, it's not just you.
And it's not
your
fault.
It's not just you, and it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I don't regret waiting to have kids because now I can give like my kids 100% of my time and attention. You did the honors.
Rousey and husband Travis Brown, also a former fighter, parents to Kiave and Kaleo, her stepsons, and 2-year-old daughter Poe, who at times is her toughest opponent.
Usually I'm like trying to stop, like don't pee on that. That's not like a feeling of mastery.
Mom.
Yeah?
Master of motherhood or not, Rousey credits her husband for helping her realize her worth outside the octagon.
I let myself be defined by my role, not just I'm a fighter, but I'm the champion, I'm the best that's ever done it. He showed me that I am so much more than that little box that I put myself in, and that guidance of, you know what, you are good for so much more than just beating the out of people, even though you're really, really, really good at it.
Yeah.
You're so good at it, but it's not all that you are.
Do you miss it?
I don't miss competing. I kind of miss MMA sparring though. It's just like that feeling of being like amazing at something, that like feeling of mastery and like everything makes sense. But I do not miss the anxiety that comes with competition. Yeah.
And while Ronda Rousey may no longer define herself by her MMA and UFC records, there's no doubt she and her legacy helped redefine the sport.
Did you set out to do that? Did you want this to be, it's not just about me, but I want this to be about opportunity for other women too?
I mean, honestly, I just wanted to like have a career, support myself doing something that I loved. But it wasn't like my goal to create a job for everybody else for women in the UFC. I just wanted to like make a living doing something I was good at, and it just happened to change the world.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news, stream us right here on CBS News 24/7. I'm Michelle Miller. Thanks for watching Eye on America.